Individual investors are getting more pessimistic about the market, according to AAII's latest investment sentiment survey. The share of respondents with bearish views rising to 60.6%. It is only the sixth time going back to 1987 where that number has crossed the 60% threshold, per Bespoke Investment Group. For more, Charles Schwab's head of trading services, James Kostulias, joins us here on set. And you're actually seeing something a little bit different. It sounds like there's some optimism out there.
Certainly. Well, thanks so much for having me, Melissa. I would say yes, a little bit different, but the recent survey we did was a quarterly sentiment survey, and as I was just telling Steve, wow, can things change quickly within these markets. So certainly a little bit more bullish probably coming into the start of the year than we'll see now, but a couple interesting trends I think that are still offer some pretty good perspectives. One would be more bullishness in younger investors. So we saw a pretty big spike, up to 6 out of 10 younger investors turning bullish towards the market, which is certainly interesting. Relative to sectors, I think we see a bit of bullishness in finance, which I think is sort of holding through what we're seeing even over the course of the last couple of days and couple of weeks, and certainly some bearishness within healthcare.
James, over the last few years, we've kind of some sentiment, positive sentiment, has been around products, right? Options, crypto, that sort of thing. What are you seeing in those products? Because we know that some of your competitors are seeing a lot of growth there.
Yeah, we continue to see great growth in the derivatives. Both options and futures has been really, really strong. I think over the course of the last couple of quarters, definitely a rise in equity trading as well. What we tend to see at Schwab is resilience within the derivative traders. So they're going to be there regardless of what they're seeing in the market. And with what we've seen with the bull rise lately, certainly a little bit more of a lean towards equities.
James, when you look at crypto, with obviously you're trading them all through ETFs now at Schwab. Is the younger population more bullish? That would seem logical than the older demographic. And last one, just to piggyback it with, do they validate when you look back in hindsight? Do the things, if they're negative healthcare, is that proven out 6 months out, or is it a contraindicator?
Yeah, that's a great question, Steve. So we also do, in addition to the quarterly sentiment survey, we do a Schwab Trading Activity Index. So the survey is sentiment-based. The Schwab Trading Activity Index is actually behavioral-based. So we look at actually what we see trading, and we do that monthly. And we've created an index out of that, what we call the stacks. Oftentimes, they are very highly correlated. Where it gets really interesting is where they're not correlated. And sometimes, probably 1 or 2 quarters a year, we will see some derivation between what they said in the survey and what they're actually doing, which tends to lead to some interesting insights.
James, how about a case where after a run we've had in the volatility even of the last couple of weeks and the bearishness you're talking about, are people taking their money and putting them into higher yielding, call it money markets, and places that really are more about an asset allocation that, frankly, we hadn't really seen out of that investor until rates were useful?
Yeah, so certainly with the rise in rates, we saw that, right? Being in this business for quite a while. We hadn't talked about rates since probably, 05, 06, 07, and then rates became all the rage. We are seeing a lot of engagement, a lot of trading engagement, as was asked before, relative to certainly derivatives, but equities as well. We're up from a trading perspective a little less than 10% year over year. We have not seen a slowdown in the start of this year. So I don't think at this point people are on the sidelines. I think they are still remaining really quite active.